looking okay. Big emphasis on should. Hopefully it works out fine. So far, everything's pretty typical. We have Luris, Kira, committed as companions. Pretty common for these type of decks. Yeah, they were meant to be there last night, the arrows, but I'm not gonna name any names, being me. Forgot to do it. So we get a suspended Rift Bolt. Pretty typical. We're gonna fetch. Actually, it's okay. I should probably be on top of life totals today, huh? I had all the time in the world to set it up, and I did not. And the reason why is I wanted to kind of wait for some people to get in here, but two, I kind of wanted to see, do we want to gamble on the matches as a whole? Like, is Team A going to beat Team B? That's really good, by the way. A chalice on one. This game might be over beforehand. It's just like, what's he going to do, you know? But are we voting on like Team A beating Team B? So in this case, I think it's under Hardesty. So it's like Team Hardesty beating Team Michael, or are we going? Is Damien going to beat Zelena? Yeah, he's a bold man playing Cryptic. He's a bold man if that's actually what he's doing, but I don't actually know. We got a reader. Eidolon, not really a big issue for you, especially when you have a chalice on the back end. It's like, because one of the issues is taking the damage and then putting yourself within range, but I don't think you have to worry about it too much, especially when you just started off with Prismatic. Then we're going to take two. We got another reader. Reading one of the most broken cards printed for white control decks. White X control decks. Colin looks very enthused. Yeah, T-Bit, you got it. We got the reader. So far, I didn't seem that bad. Chalice didn't seem too strong, but like also could be holding a ton of bolts and just hasn't tried to jam him yet. I do think I see a Boros charm, but what's fun, Bunny? It's gonna be cool if he knows that this fairy stops this Rift Bolt from being cast on the upkeep. I'm gonna get charmed. Taking 4. Down to 8. Yeah, when you're in for 5 colors, I swear to God, there's a chance you get punched. Yep, Damien caught it. Very smart. He also did the smart thing of plussing it up here to try to make sure it stays alive, so that on your turn you're free, especially against these burn decks. Because now this Teferi needs 2 spells. So we buy Luris, put it in hand. We draw a big Teferi, Archmage's Charm. I know plussing it originally I think is good because obviously you won't have like any mana to protect it, but now with the mana to protect it, I think you down tick it. Because his hand's not looking great. I'm pretty sure that draw actually gave him his 4th land. I don't think he actually had a 4th land in hand. It's a little hard to tell. We're going to go ahead and jam a Luris, and this better be the fastest counter spell I've ever seen. This person sees a Cryptic, probably attempts to punch the wall. Because Who's playing Cryptic? My boy Damo or Damien. Yeah, I would say that was the biggest part is like not having a land in hand. I think you really had to force it. But if you're just going to sit here and one for one these spells against Burn because they can't really do anything with this Chalice, like I think you're pretty happy. I almost don't know. And I could be wrong. I just don't know. Depending on what's in his hand, I would almost have liked, well, Solitude's pretty good, but I'd have almost liked for him to draw two with this charm, potentially. But obviously, if he doesn't have enough counter spells to stop anything else, which doesn't actually look like it, then you probably have to keep it in hand. But if you would have had like any other counter spell, I think getting two new cards, pretty good idea. Yeah, see, comment. That's what I was saying. I don't know if we want to. If we want to. I have buttons. Hold on. I have buttons. I even put the match buttons on. Yeah, not only was that Chalice on one, it was on one on turn two. Like, got that down immediately, which is crazy. I'm pretty sure it's a one of in the deck, by the way. But, I was wanting to know, should we do it for, I think we should do it for the entire, like, setup. And no, Shake is not playing in the event. But because it's going to be hard to do it for the individual matches anyway. Because, like, most of the time when we pan over, they're probably going to be mid-game anyway, so I'm not going to be able to do one for them anyway. So we can either do it for the entire teams, or we can do it for the individual game that we're watching. And I'll let you decide what you want to do with that, chat. But just real quick, the bottom left, you can kind of see what games being played. I'm going to pan through the other games, just kind of check their board state, see what's happening. We have Fun Pioneer happening in the bottom left against Niv. We have a question being asked about sideboards, which is obviously allowed. We're in a team event. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just like, wanted to verify. And then we're going to go to Standard, the Gathering. We have paper tokens, which it's fine. As long as your opponent knows what each token represents, it's fine. Which I think he's writing on them, so we're good. But we have Crab Go Purr on this against, from what I was told, Jeskai Control, which is kind of what it looks like, I believe. But go back to this game, our feature match at the moment. Well, we let players use what tokens they want. They're allowed to use what tokens. We're not going to force them to use ours. We don't have custom tokens. T-Bibs. What do you want from me? You're just going to make us use tokens? You're going to donate tokens? Be like, you have to use these on the trip. I know that Damien and them are done with game one. Clearly, the match 2 is done too, as I think I can see Quentin. Is it done? I thought he was sideboarding. Nah, they're still gone. I think Blue White Control is the first one done. What is this, guys? Yeah, that makes sense, but like, you know, all Blue White Control is probably upset. The Boomer Blue White. Without all these other cards. Damn, you gonna keep shuffling with your random cards sitting on the table or what? Like, what is this? Is that your starting 7 hand and you're just gonna keep it? I'm gonna reset the life totals. Just kind of leave them where they were at for a second. Yeah. No, I agree. Playing too fast blue-white player removes the tilt factor, which removes half the fun. You know what I'm saying? Just for some clarity, the Apex logo, which is next to the records, is who has won which match. I took them away from the life totals part because we made it like a blue, but you can see it next to their, actually below their team. The graph is the team's record overall, or the individual you're watching's record. So it's not going to be like, that's not going to update based on who's won each game. It's only going to be because, like, I'll show you real quick. Like, I have all these. So those will represent who's won which game. And then the record will show where they're at in terms of placement in the event. Cool grass. That's pretty aggressive. But, like, I get the sentiment because I feel the same way a lot of times. I'm just trying to play it tight and hit you with it, man. Don't solitude it. Come on. But I do believe Damien's probably actually, in terms, we played yesterday, and we have 12 teams, I think. I think that's the number. If this, yeah, it's 12. I was waiting for 12 matches, and that wouldn't make sense. There's 6 matches, so there's 12 teams, which is really cool. Because we didn't imagine it, like, we imagined it doing well, and I think this is, I would consider this pretty well. Because, like, a lot of people kind of had some trouble finding some standard players, some pioneer players, kind of a little weird, but then modern players, obviously, or whatever. You can find those players all the time. Look at this. Asking about his hand. So, don't want it done. We have a quick start. And almost the exact same start, but instead this time Burns on the play. And we see it tapped, hollow found, which we probably would have seen a different land play. No, we probably wouldn't see a different land play. We have a chalice on 1 again coming up. We have a prismatic ending in hand, which is going to probably have to be used to get rid of this Swift Spear. Or we're just going to take 3 to the dome. Be sad about it. Opponent, let them know the trigger happens before the damage goes through. Which a lot of people haven't been playing against Goblin Guide lately because, I don't know, Ragavan's a cool card. And kind of forget when that trigger resolves. Because you'll actually get to see what cards you're going to do on top. Or prismatic ending that. Which is pretty good because you know that this card's going to be 2/2 no matter what, whereas the Swift Spear can become a lot more damage as, like, all these bolts and stuff come off the top, hit you in the head. Be sad about it. Only issue here for the burn player is we do have a Solitude. Damien can flip his card over, but I don't think he cares to. He might as well leave it showing. So, it's whatever. My bad. Huh. That's not good for us. If we're rooting for the blue-white. We have Aaron coming back, our judge, with what I believe is the ruling. There's probably going to be a lot of rules questions today, a little bit more than normal, because some people don't quite know how team events work. Some examples could be like, oh, what happens if I get up from the table? Or, like, if I want to sit in between, like, my teammates, how do I go about that? And a lot of times it's like you have to keep your head at eye, like table level, so you can't be standing up. If you are, you're going to be asked to move. If you're helping your teammate, if you're just not saying anything, it's like whatever. But you know, simple things. It's Solitude. We go up to 20. Damien's down to 11. He's looking at his hand. It's not looking great for him. I believe it's a Mystic Gate. It's kind of hard for me to tell. My screen is so small. Hold on. I gotta try to make this bigger. I can't see nothing. We do get to stick his Chalice on one. There's another Solitude, which is not fun to see. Because, like, along with it, just exiling your creatures and whatnot, it can also just be a 3/2 lifelinker. So every time it hits, it just negates a bolt, or obviously you have a Chalice here, but y'all know what I mean. Need to move this slightly over so I can read. I do know eventually somebody will be joining me, because, you know, they'll lose. But, oh, having the Solitude that with the other Solitude feels bad, man. So we're at 21. Damien goes 17. Or 17-7. I don't know where 17 came from, but I said it. What card did he draw with Guide? He drew the blue castle. Vantress. So the two cards that he's drawn off Guide have been a polluted Delta and a Castle Vantress. The other one flipped to Solitude, and then the other one flipped to Counter Spell that he shuffled away to a cracked polluted Delta. We have a Test of Talents on a Lightning Helix. We are playing Test of Talents, which turns out to be really good. And then he gets to look through the deck. If you do not know what Test of Talents does, you just look through the deck and exile the other copies. So this is huge for him. Actually, the fact that the other card in hand was another bolt or another helix, because this bolt's not going to do anything. And Damien now has all the information to know that the only thing he has to worry about is this Goblin Guide and this Lurrus that the opponent can obviously put in their hand next turn. Look at this Test Town. I think they get to... Do they get to draw a card off Test Towns? If they had another one in hand, I actually don't know. There we go. Yep, for each card exile from their hand, they get to draw a card. So it's not too sad for the burn player. The only problem is that was your 2 mana burn spells instead of another Chalice. So with the information, gonna hard cast Solitude, exile that, save the damage. He's actually at 6, so I apologize. And we are up to 23 for the burn player. We finally get this Chalice off the board, and then we... I guess he was lower than that. Was he less than 6? Because he... Oh, does that card do 3? I don't know what the card is. I don't recognize the art because it's foil. And it looks like a different art. I imagine it does 3 to him as well, so it had enough for lethal. Alright, so real quick, why this game's in sideboards, we're going to pan over to the other games, see how they're doing, so that we all know what is happening. Right now, we're going to pan to the Phoenix against Niv. This looks like a nightmare. There's Callistus in play, there's Tovolar, makes a wolf, which I assume that's what that flip card is. And the wolf, when it enters, it Fights a creature. We have a Thing in the Ice with a Phoenix in play. Bunch of exile cards in the graveyard, so it's probably been a treasure cruiser too. Pass. It's 12 to like 26. Holy moly. Not looking great for Quentin. We exile Express Veneration, whatnot. So now we are all the way at 28. We're gonna go standard real quick. Standard for some reason actually looks kind of cleaner, but we have a Leona that's died. Then we've had Jessica controlled, doing kind of some cool stuff. How do we feel about the card Celestis? I think the card's pretty dope. If you're a standard player, anyway. Helps against the werewolf decks, stuff like that. It probably was Smash, but I just know, at least from what his die said, he was at 6. We don't have a spotter, so it's kind of hard for me to tell. But I'm going to go back because they're probably about to start. But he was at 6, and then he conceded to a bolt to face. So I would imagine that's what happened. Commentating by yourself's hard. Keep having to like, every time I keep pausing to like think somebody else is gonna take it over, but then I realize, nah, dude, it's just me. Yeah, so it's probably Smash then. Smash Smithereens. That makes the most sense. But I just couldn't tell because I did not recognize the art. Looks like we have another judge call. He got asked a question. But this is with Phoenix. Just go that way. There's a judge question. But I don't think that's affecting our match, but they might be waiting to see the rulings. Damien's sideboarding, or not sideboarding, he's putting one back because he mauled. Right. We're back in our game here. Suspend the Rift Bolt for the 3rd straight game. Let me see it. Who's calling it? Is it 3rd straight suspended Rift Bolt? Well, I mean, we're going to 17. I could have told if I would have just looked at the die. That's very smart of me to do. I was sitting here waiting to see if he was chalking a land, or she was chalking a land, and just didn't have it. Swing Goblin Guide, trigger, hit a land. That's pretty good for you, especially considering that you had to mulligan and you were down 1 card, so you get to put 1 in hand. Joust just off the top, like the mad lad that you are. So we're down to 18. So the only problem here, I think I think that he was pausing to consider was either potentially killing this Goblin Guide now or letting it trying to potentially draw him a card. Or was the idea to potentially play this Chalice on 2, which would negate his counter spells, but like, to be fair, most of the cards that we've seen have all actually been 2 mana. And those have been the ones really hurting him. And the reason you considered going on 2 is like, get rid of Smash, Lightning Helix, and all these other, like Boros Charm that we know they play. But like, I also get it on 1 because, you know, creatures. They're also good. We've really been dying to the 2 mana spells the last couple games. Not saying that's the correct play that you should do. I'm just saying that might be what he was considering at the time. Speaking of Boros Charm, Yeah, just draw the extra chalice. Um, so we go all the way down to 12 pretty quickly. We're also at 14. We're now reading Goblin Guide if we've seen it in game 1 and 2. Game 3 is when we decide to read. Nice demo. Very nice. It's all fun and games. We have the new timely reinforcements in hand. Obviously, it's not timely, but I don't know what the card is called. It's something revelry, right? New standard card. Sunset. Okay. Yeah. I just couldn't quite tell what it was called. So we have a baby Tef in hand. We have a Misty. We have big Tef and a Memory Deluge. And then I can't really tell what's in the burn player's hand. We're keeping it kind of tight, so I can't really spot a card. Mountain Swift Spear, Lightning Helix, and what looked like a bolt or a Rift Bolt. Not exactly sure. I just think he might have been checking that toughness on the creature, I would imagine, to see if he can double block it and kill it. But the main thing you care about there is your life. You gotta get some of that life back. Draws a castle off the goblin trigger. We're gonna double block here. Put them back in the deck box instead of just setting them on top of the deck box like a monster. We did a store championship yesterday. That was when we did it. We had like 8 people come. It was modern. So, and now we have a 1K today, which is modern, pioneer, and standard. Yeah, Rep, I think you made a good point. You know what I'm saying? Kyle's in the building. It's just me, though. I'm the only one in the booth. Now, I mean, in terms of commentating, Kyle's son, on the other hand, is in the booth with me. But he is playing Skyrim on the Switch while I'm hard at work, kick back, relax in my chair, commentating over a Magic the Gathering game. Which is hard enough. Oh, I forgot to change the title. Just tell me how many rounds there are. Hold up. All right, so there's this round 1 of 6, I believe. So there's gonna be 4 rounds, and then there's gonna be a cut to the top 4, which is obviously that top 4 is not gonna be like a round robin. It's gonna be like 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3, and then whoever wins those games play each other. Is how the tournament setup will be. Where did my scoreboard go? So far, no. And to be fair, it's because I've only seen these 6. These are the only ones I've seen. I know in standard, the Michael and Justin are playing, I think, some different decks than what's super popular. Like, I don't think either of them are actually just playing blue-red. I want to say that Hardesty's potentially playing Grixis, but I could be wrong. The most spicy list I've actually seen is being played by TJ, one of the store locals, if you've been here to the stream before. he's playing this like blue red Pioneer deck that's playing Hullbreaker with extra turns and then Chandras. And he might be Demir. I'm not exactly sure either because his deck list name said Crab Go Burr. So that's what I got for you, team. I believe Damien's at 9. It's kind of hard to. I assume that's 9. I think I see the period after it to represent what side it's on. We just have 2 counter spells up and a baby Tef. We're gonna have to read that card. Even the player, huh?
It's 9.
Okay, thanks, buddy. We're gonna have to read that card. 'Cause I'm pretty sure the burn player also read that card when they drew it. To kind of try to remember exactly what it does. So I think we have a double reader here. I mean, takes it to the dome. Yeah, I would say yeah. Okay, I see that was the main part. I didn't know if it was uncounterable or not. I was not sure about that. I knew it. I thought it did 3, to be honest with you, but 4 uncounterable is pretty good. So now we're gonna play the Secret Lair Big Tef. Untap. Have 2 counter spells up. Try to smile as the blue-white players doing their thing. So I'm gonna activate Mystic Gate and make 2 blue mana. But okay, I mean, I'm looking at the Burns graveyard. It checks out. I think it checks out. So main thing Damien's probably looking for here is some solitudes because we really need to try to gain life. I also don't think I'm gonna put. Hold on, one, two. I don't think I'm also opposed to him of activating Castle on his end step with the Fairy trigger on the stack because that would have gave you 5 mana. Especially when you have a baby Tef in play. As our opponent just found out. Or has been reminded. Good job, Damo, not missing it, because I would have had to walk out there and been like, hey man, that's a baby Tef in play. And those are illegal game actions. And it's just me, and I don't want to walk out there, team. I do not want to do it. I don't know what that card is. Somebody else wants to try to explain it to me. Feel free to. I don't know what the art is. So we're scrying instead, putting both on bottom. It was a haul. And okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Damien. I think you should try drawing better. I don't think I'm opposed to Damien upkeep scrying here either. Because you just have so much mana. Flame Rift? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, that's about where we're at, right? Like I think you just I think you just uptick your baby Tef and next turn try to alt this to fairy. And then downtick your Tef, draw a card, start exiling the cards. That's a smash. I believe that's what we said it was. Um, no, that's not it, right? Oh, that's skull crack, homie. That is a skull crack. Oh, look at you, chat. You're on top of it. It's just like my screen's a little bit smaller, so it's kind of hard for me to see it. I have like all the other stuff, so I have to like pull the monitor super close to my face and blind my eyes. And that's what we call a TAF emblem. Uh, go for the untapped ones. I don't know if we floated a mana. I might have just vocally said we're floating a mana. It doesn't matter. We have a baby TAF, so. This is gross. This is gross. We have a Solitude in hand. We have a Tested Talents in hand. He gets that one because obviously you don't want to target a fetch land. I'm going to be honest. If he didn't have 47 lands in his hand, I feel like he'd have this locked up. So things that the blue-white player could be doing with a hand like this is probably buying a Kahira. That's just a thought. Because then you would have a card to exile with your Solitude, or you could buy Kahira, play Kahira, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'd have enough to do that. No, he used it to counter a spell earlier because he had to. But like, he could have bought a Kahira, played a Kahira, kept up a Tested Talents, but also had a Solitude in hand to exile his Kahira if he needed 3 life, maybe. Modern, no, so it's, yeah, this game is definitely over. But at least in my eyes, I could be wrong, obviously. But we're tapped out. We have Chalice on 1, and 5/1 drops in hand. And we're about to start exiling the rest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game's over, but you know. You know how it be. Come on, Damien, just let him on that. And we flash in a Solitude. Burn player probably knows this game's over. Just kind of is like going through it, you know. Exiles the red source because he knows the hand's all red cards. Gets in 3 life. Sorry, he's a little bit lower than he was before. And then this game is just pass and it's over. He did buy the Kahira. Probably did not see him play it if he was going to buy it. I think you play it, you buy it, and you play it because it's going to make your Solitude a 4/3. And so you're going to gain like 1 extra life in case like you don't have a counter and they just like have a Boros. Obviously, there's no lands there. I'm speaking theoretically for like other scenarios. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like giving the Solitude vigilance and like an extra point of damage. This is a team event actually. So as you can tell, there's the teams. So Damien got both. Actually, I went to game 3. I'm just trolling and I forgot to do it. But these are your players. Damien gets 1 game. I do not have a way to represent in the team event who's won which because I don't have a spotter, so I didn't bother. We didn't bother to put that up. Yeah. It's the size of a normal table. We're gonna find out right now. Depends what you mean. Because in terms of like spacing and stuff, we've had help. Like if you're talking in terms of COVID, we've had our health department and they've okayed everything that we have. But if you're saying like they just need more room on the table, it's the same size like our other tables. So that's just where we're at. But we're gonna go to the second game. We'll hop over to standard. See, well, I don't know what's happening. Wait, did I? I said yeah, it's a team event. Yeah. Obviously the other thing is we always recommend like people can, if they feel uncomfortable, to please let us know and we'll try to figure something out. Obviously health is a big concern for us. Our judges talked about it before. We let our players know in terms of health wise, like, hey, we need everybody to understand that everything is, good question. It's Demir, I think, but so far we haven't had anybody concerned in terms of health wise. The other thing is like the Damien, Quentin, and Harsey are all involved with the store, so if they had a question, they'll answer it. But you would think, but Hardesty named it Crab Goes Burr, and this is what we got. So it is just Guy Control against Demir Control, I think. And I don't think Harsey's playing mill cards. Yeah, you would think, but Harsey said, bro, I answered Big Guy's question. Now, just because he's in the shower and doesn't want to listen. RC is a troll. I don't know what just happened to our camera. It just spazzed. What is that? But bro, I literally said it's a team event. Why don't you start with me? Team, can anybody verify what happened? Because I currently don't know, but I know they can see it. So we're going to hop over to the Phoenix game and see what's happening here. Unless they're done. They might be done. I have no idea. This is where it's kind of hard to tell when you're in a team event, because I have no clue if somebody's done. Oh, okay. Thanks, Thunderwong. I did, Big Guy, I did see it. I said, yes, we are live. Dude, me and Big Guy, we're about to put a dispute channel in the Discord, and that's where me and you gonna meet up. We're gonna have to watch the whole thing back. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so the match is over. I think you're gonna update me.
Let's go on.
All right. So I know you won individually, but did your team win?
Yes.
Okay.
We told Varsity he was still in game one.
Yeah, so we're trying to wait, you were game one?
They're still in game one.